All right. Good morning, everybody. Nikki Burnett here. Today's Taste Life Nutrition Radio and podcast streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. And today we have, I think for the third time, this might be a first, but we have Amita Sharma, who is just so good at what she does, and we have a really cool surprise for you today. We've been waiting on this, I think, for a few months. Well, you've been waiting on it for a really long time, but we'll tell you about, sort of her surprise and what she has going on. But we have talked a lot over the last few months about menopause, perimenopause, women's hormones and that kind of thing. And that is Amita's expertise. And so thank you for being here again for the third time.
Well, thank you so much for putting this together. I love your passion to what you are doing. So I just cannot express my gratitude more than, I cannot, I'm like, with all gratitude to you and your team.
Thank you. Well, that's really a great place to start, because I was going to ask you, as we always do, we start the show with gratitude. So what are you grateful for? Is that it? So many things.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. I wake up and I see your beautiful face. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I love it.
I am grateful for that for today. Yes, and the world should not come to an end. That's what I'm hoping.
Let's not let that happen quite yet. Lots of work to be done before the world comes to an end.
I know.
And if it does, then it's God's will. It's okay. So move that. So what am I grateful for today? You know what? I think last week I had a conference, and it's one of my favorite things to do is conferences, because I want to do my best to stay on the cutting edge of what is going on in healthcare, what is going on in medicine, and obviously and particularly what's going on in functional medicine. And the people who do these talks at these conferences are just so smart. Right? I mean, if I could just open up their brain and just take it all in, that's what I'm trying to do, is just take it all in. But I love it so much. And I'm learning to be a little bit techie with these things too, because I'm going to tell you what it's a super side note, but I'm kind of super proud of myself, because the way that I take notes at conferences is I take notes with a pen and paper, right? And, music, thank you. And what I did this time is I actually recorded it, then I transcribed it, then I uploaded it into ChatGPT, and I broke down bulleted notes. So I have the transcribed talks, then I have my bulleted notes, and it's all kind of in one place. So it's super easy now for me to refer back to and continue to learn from. And I was like, why haven't I done this? Well, and of course we haven't had ChatGPT that long, but I'm grateful for, although, the whole AI thing has the potential and probably already is scary in its ways, but the amount of the things that you can do to save time, to save energy, and organize and just help with all of the things that it is that we've got to do in a day, right? It's fascinating, and I'm just so grateful today for ChatGPT.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing how AI can actually impact in a positive way so many different things.
Yeah.
And help in healthcare as well, which is it's just getting unfolded as we speak.
It's true. Yeah, it's so true. So let's do this. You've been on before, but there are, I'm sure, people who are new to you, new to the show. So let's just give a little bit of a background, where you came from, who you are, and then we'll jump into all of the new things that you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm Amita, co-founder of NourishDoc, and my background has been in technology, product management, and working for these high-tech companies. That's very And before that, I actually was a professional architect designing homes, believe it or not.
That's right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And now, during my journey all these years, I actually went through perimenopause and I had no clue. And that kind of led me over the years to do something to not be quiet. And that's how NourishDoc was founded, with the single mission of making a social impact to women. So that here I am in front of you.
You know, it is this interesting thing, and the more that I'm going through my own, perimenopausal journey, and then, and you start to sort of attract those people, right, who are, they're like, I think I might be perimenopausal, and so my question is, how old are you? I'm 40. I'm like, yeah, you're perimenopausal, right? And so it's just so often the way that it is, but we don't realize, we don't understand, and maybe you can hit on this a little bit, that 10 years prior, I mean, it's a long time that we go through this perimenal process of things changing and we don't really know it, and sometimes it's a little bit subtle, but it's like, where did these memory lapses come from, or why am I all of a sudden fatigued, or whatever it is. And we don't really think about the fact that it's potentially hormonally based and that we're moving into perimenopause, and what are the things that we can do to help to manage those things, so as we're moving through the true change, that it's, the symptoms are minimal, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, most of us, and the same thing happened to me. I was like 40, and perimenopause started creeping on me. I did not even know the word perimenopause, and I think I'm not the only one who's expressing this issue. I talked to like 3,000 holistic experts all over the world, and majority of them, they being in the whole world, inside the medical field, they also had no clue about perimenopause. And the strangest thing is, it can last up to 1 decade before you actually hit the button, and that's also not the end. Now you have to worry about the chronic condition, because now, so many other things can start creeping up. So it is so important for women. I cannot even overemphasize this fact that for women, younger women, 35 plus, not even 40 plus, to start learning to empower themselves, so that they're ready when these things is happening. Because guess what? Enough studies have been done to link lack of care during these years to accelerated chronic diseases that can happen after 55 plus, or 55 plus, or 60 plus, when a woman turns there, and then there's no turning back sometimes, because you are on meds now. So that's why I am trying to advocate the fact. Talking about perimenopause, yes, we do talk about menopause, but nobody wants to talk. Nobody knows. Not enough people are talking about perimenopause.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, what I'm noticing so often, and it breaks my heart, that we have, but then we're also afraid of hormones, right? And I think that if there's one thing that I can put out there for anybody who's paying attention to this, is that progesterone can be a changer. It's not necessarily for everyone, but it's for a lot of people, and it can really be a game changer for managing symptoms, but just OD on it. Now, doesn't take buckets of it, but it's something that I think that we should really, and I wish I had started much earlier than I did, but it's it really can make a big difference in how we feel about life, and then how we're moving through perimenopause, and then of course beyond.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The other thing is, I was talking to a retired police officer, and the other thing is, HRT is insurance covers HRT, but it doesn't cover BHRT. So now it's cost prohibitive for millions and millions of Americans when paid out. Insurance doesn't cover it in this country, and this doesn't cover it in this country. And there's so much debate that's happening in UK now. The UK has a government system, they are bringing menopause out to the forefront in Australia, but this country still, we need to bring it to the forefront so that, a, there's an advocacy. Second, some kind of, at least bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a smart thing to bring up. And just for those who don't know, so we've got HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy, and then we've got BHRT, which is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And so I will always, always, always promote bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, because the chemical structure, the pharmaceutical structures are not what the body needs. This is when, we talk a lot about, doing these studies with hormone replacement therapy. A lot of the times it's not the bioidentical, and it can be much more problematic than the bioidentical. Or I think we always have to be careful with estrogens, right? Their estrogens are we've got to be careful with those. Progesterone's not as much. And then of course testosterone is a whole different story. But the point to that is, if we're seeing the right people, and the people who know what they're doing and getting the right testing done, doing the bioidentical is always, always going to be best. Also, though, so you're right that the bioidentical can be expensive and potentially cost prohibitive. But there are a couple companies who I know and I use who are bioidentical. They're not by prescription. You can get the progesterone, and you can get some forms of estrogen, so the estradiol and the estriol when necessary. And so that's what I use, and that's when I'm working with my clients, I'll use that, and it's not very expensive. I'm going to tell you too, my own journey is, the only symptoms I have, as far as I know anyway, are the hot flashes. And they were intense, and they were constant. I was like, what is happening, right? It was just this crazy thing. But it took only a couple of days, 2 or 3 or 4 days, for me to find my dosing for progesterone and a little bit of estradiol. And I don't have hot flashes anymore, and I sleep well. And progesterone is great for helping people sleep. If you're taking it, take it at night. It's really great for sleep. Also, I learned something, this is a little bit off topic, but I learned something for young kids who are dealing with anxiety. There are practitioners who are using, boys and girls, there are practitioners who are using progesterone for anxiety.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that.
I know. I just heard that. I was like, that is fascinating. It's just it has such great potential, the progesterone does. So anyway, I think that we need to be really clear that the pharmaceutical forms are problematic, can have much higher potential of being problematic. And I do think that we can find the less expensive forms of the hormones. You just got to find the people who know what they're doing, right? When you're replacing them.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, right? There's a gap in the amongst the medical fraternity or healthcare fraternity, if I may say so. I say that with the OBG, with the fact that conviction that the OBGYN have. Most of the OBGYN have said, well, they were not even taught about perimenopause during their med school. I mean, how crazy is that?
I know.
And then menopause is only 8 hours. Most of the work, most of the studies is on the female's reproductive system and the pregnancy, and not beyond the reproductive years. So, that is another thing. An average woman, like, you and I mean, you are an expert. I have learned on the hard way. But if you talk to an average woman on the street who's on this 45-year-old and ask her, and she's told us what the heck she's supposed to do. Estrogen, progesterone, BHRT, HRT, I'm like, this mumbo jumbo, so many things. That's an easy way, right, for us to reach a common consumer. That is, I think that's where the challenge is, and a common consumer is completely torn because they go to the medical fraternity. If they're not knowledgeable, that's exactly what happened to me. There's cultural stigma, and then there's workplace invisibility. You feel like age discrimination. There's a generational silence. My mom never told me about that. All these
What is that?
factors compound and you feel like a mess. I mean, I'm serious. You just feel like a complete mess that you're going to be discarded by the society. Maybe I'm over exaggerating right now, but the fear of being dismissed by the society, that you no longer wanted because you can't function. Like I'm telling you, I couldn't function as a human being, as a person.
Well, so, I think, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. And that's what's happening to millions of women out there who do not have the knowledge to do how to help themselves, right? That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I totally agree. You know, what we find is, you know, so you hit on a couple of things, is, you know, the workplace and the cultural stuff. So we're finding, you know, that so many women, because they don't understand their own situation, you know, even, you know, we have estrogen, which is so important for our cognitive health for women, and testosterone important for cognitive health for men, and the fact that they drop or they get super wonky. And then we're like, why isn't my brain functioning? Why can't I think? Do I have to now leave my job, which a lot of women do, because, you know, is it dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? I can't think the way that I used to think. And if we were to actually, you know, dig in and find somebody who can help us, we can get that full function back. But we have to have those hormones because they're protective, right?
Yes.
And so keeping women, well, for one, talking about it, so there is an understanding for those who are, we're all going to go through it, you know, whether it's, you know, medical or, you know, natural or whatever, but having the tools as we start moving into that place. And why don't we talk about it as moms and daughters? And then the cultural aspect, which I would love for you to hit on all of that and any of that in the culture aspect.
Yeah, you know, we barely understand menopause, perimenopause now. And then as I was doing the research, I was going deeper. The menopause is different for as per the ethnic background of a woman. So we'll just talk a little bit. An average age is about 51, 52 for a Caucasian woman. And this data is from the United States, by the way. And then the Latino American and African Black American women hit the menopause approximately 47, 48 earlier than they're supposed to hit. And then so the Muslim women, not necessarily in this country, but outside the country, they hit in mid-40s. And even Indian women in India hit mid-40s. So the fact, and then the 10% of the overall women are hitting perimenopause in their mid-30s. And so there are signs that are happening that this age is shifting younger, and that's not good. We were talking about the depletion hormone just now, right?
So what do you think that's about? Do you think that it's lifestyle? Is it nutrition? Is it, I mean, because I always think of, you know, India, you know, having, you know, pretty much keeping to their cultural food so often. Of course, I've never been there, so I don't know.
I would think that too. So let's just talk about African American and Latino American women here. In this country, it's definitely their lifestyle, you know, economic, right, status. They probably have to work 2-3 jobs to keep up. They don't have time to exercise or movement. They probably don't eat properly. All these things, right? And also the generational part of the genes. So I think all these factors are compounded. Now, as far as the Muslim women are probably sedentary lifestyle, that's what the research says. They don't, again, move, and the diet is not very healthy. Now the thing that Indian women in India baffles me as well, because the capital of yoga and the whole cultural kind of, it's the lifestyle again, and there are multiple things. Cultural subservience. Well, now things have changed all over the world for sure, but in the past that has been a factor. And then, of course, the sedentary lifestyle. Women don't move, period. Exercise, an average woman, I'm talking about a 45, 50-year-old woman. I'm not talking about women living in metros. So all these things, and then the lifestyle, the diet also, they supposedly have all the curries and the turmeric and the
turmeric and all of these amazing herbs that are just every day in the food.
But they don't eat properly, believe it or not. They don't. An average. So all these factors are compounded to all the women that are this is happening. And the other thing is, like for example, you were talking about hot flashes. They're more aggravated in Latino American and Black American women. They're more aggravated, and other things like weight gain and all these issues. So even the symptoms are different, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For example, Japanese American women don't get hot flashes because of the diet they have been using. They have been on soy. They have been on soup diet, so they don't get as much hot flashes as other women do. So it depends a lot, and this is what women need to understand: the ethnic background they're coming from. They need to be at least cognizant of the fact that this could happen to them, right? And like whatever. And I don't think they understand that why depletion of hormones in the mid-40s is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because now it might lead to osteoporosis and diabetes and all the chronic conditions, the dementia and the heart issues. I mean, we know all the bad things that could happen as you start getting older.
Yeah. I think another thing that's important for us to keep in mind or to pay attention to and to continue to learn about is that our needs change. Even if we're eating healthy and doing the healthy things as we're younger, our needs change. And so the data is showing that as we age, we need more protein. And we have, a society of people who don't eat meat. And and we, as women, we need to have that protein. For one, it's for neurotransmitters. For two, it's for muscle health and for body composition and for keeping strong. If we are not building that muscle through, the gym and movement and eating protein and that kind of thing, then our bones are going to start to essentially shut down, right? We're not going to continue to build bone, and then we become osteopenic and osteoporotic. And so there's so much that we should just be aware of, like you said, be cognizant of as we are moving through that change, which means we need to talk about it more.
Yeah, but we don't understand if we need to eat so much protein. I mean, including myself, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I became vegetarian and then I realized, oh my God, I'm not getting enough protein. Now I become pescatarian because I realize the salmon has like some of the fish has the most protein, and even if I keep eating every single day hemp seeds and hemp powder and all that, so it's knowledge. Like women don't understand that they need to have enough protein. Our system has to be not flamed. Most of us start getting bloated. I mean, I always used to get such heavy bloating at my tummy would not go away, and in the morning I'm bloated like. Gets built up in our bodies, and that we need to, and maybe it's excess estrogen, you were talking about that earlier, that needs to get out, but we don't have an understanding as an average woman that this needs to happen. Cleansing.
It's interesting talking about the excess estrogen. One of the things that I know we've talked a lot, you and I have talked a lot about, but I talk about all the time, is the xenoestrogens in our environment, right? And this can be impactful for men, women, for children. But for those who don't know, xenoestrogens are estrogen mimickers, right? So the pesticides, the herbicides, there are mycoestrogens, there are metalloestrogens, right? So metals and mycotoxins can also mimic estrogens and create this massive burden on the body because they attach to estrogen receptor sites. Doesn't allow our own innate estrogen to do its job, and so our hormones are super wonky. I'm going to tell you that I've been doing a lot of toxin testing, and the amount of toxins that I'm seeing come back, I'm thinking of a couple of clients in particular, but I mean, they're just red, like the sheet is red. And they can't figure out, why they've got all of these symptoms going on. I'm like, your body is so burdened with these environmental toxins. And is that because the body can't detoxify? Is it, whatever the case may be, that's the stuff we've got to work through, right? That's my job. But I am seeing so much toxic burden on men and women that it's really scary, and it can be managed and mitigated, but we've got to know that it's there for one. But for two, where is it coming from? We got to figure that piece of it out, and I think a lot of it's water.
Water and also our food supply too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody, again, the cost part comes in. Everybody cannot afford to start buying organic foods. You go to the supermarket, it's laden with pesticides, insecticides. Even if you start using organic other household products or washing and even makeup and stuff like that, but the food supply is the one we are ingesting every single day, and we have no clue. Believe it or not, if you go to Europe, I can eat bread, cheese every single day. I can survive on that, but when I come back, I have the same meal that I had in Europe. Yeah. I'm like bloated like a balloon. I have no idea what happens. And this is not me. I've heard that from many people.
Oh yeah,
right?
Without a doubt. Yeah. The food is very different over there, and they don't allow the trash in their food that we do here. And thank God we're on a trajectory where that is starting to change, because we're doing is we're killing our own people with the chemicals that we're putting in our food. How in the hell does that make sense? I don't know, and I can't figure it out. There's something in my mind. There's something super evil that's going on. Point to that is, though, we're moving in a direction where that stuff is starting to come out, and I'm talk about being grateful. Going back to the first of our conversation, I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for RFK and his heart to. His heart is to help the children not be sick, right? That's what it is. Yes. And of course, the adults are going to come along with that as well. But that's it's beautiful, and I'm so grateful for that. Anyway, total side note, but
no, it's great. And what's happening now? Yeah. They're at least getting down to the root cause. They're trying to take out some of these artificial, so many things that are so that where we are going looks very promising. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, agreed. So let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about what you've been doing and what you have been preparing for because we were going to have you on, I think it was a month ago, give or take. Yes. And you were like, no, not yet. I was like, okay, let's push you back. So let's talk about what you got going on.
Yeah, so, like I said earlier, the whole idea is to empower an average woman on the street of what this perimenopause, menopause journey is, and what is it that she can do to start taking care of herself. So that's what the whole higher idea, and we're putting together in an app, which we just actually launched it to the experts. We are onboarding experts as we speak. So NourishDoc is going to have an app for women who can download. The first step would be self-care, like $5 per month, super cheap, so that every woman can go through what perimenopause is and what she can do to help herself, menopause, and all the different concerns. So over 25 plus programs, all supported by holistic experts initially. And not that we are against HRT or PHRT, but we are not experts in that. So we're going to have experts who will support that whole PHRT, HRT. So that's what we've been working on. Super excited because we hope that it will impact millions and millions of women to help them understand themselves and really start living a better life.
So you're bringing experts on to help guide women, and so you said it's $5 a month. So is this just kind of a first phase?
So the $5 a month does not include the expert kind of consultation, obviously. Yeah. The $5 a month is the experts talking, but the next phase would be if someone wants an expert-driven guided programs or workshops or consultations or whatever, then the experts would be there available, and they put their prices. We don't control that at all from that point of view. Okay. So that's where experts are being onboarded in the next 1 month, that when they can put their own workshops and put a price or a program or a consultation or whatever they want to do. The $5 is a pre-recorded, sort of like on demand, in an app version, so that women can press the button and say, oh, I want to know let's say hot flashes, then the hot flashes, different things would kind of start playing in the pretty set structured program.
Okay.
And the experts who are in it, if they want to chat, if they want to chat with the members or the women, they can do that. So that's the $5 one. The $5 one is self-care.
Yeah.
It's not guided by experts, but the next part is where the guidance by experts would be there, where they set their prices, and women can choose to do like different things as I talked about. If they want workshops, it's going to be group, it'll be again be affordable. If they want to do programs pre-recorded plus some kind of a guidance from the experts, so it'll be hybrid.
Okay.
And then the fourth thing would be one-on-one, that of course is whatever their rates are. So that's kind of how it would be structured. So it starts from really affordability, and then it starts going up.
Okay, cool. So you are delivering information to from experts, and then you're also doing essentially connection, right? Connection to
Correct.
For the expert.
Correct.
To those who want that expertise. Yeah.
Yeah. It's delivering information, and also users can also monitor a lot of things. We're going to be adding a lot of other information, data that can be, a lot of things can be monitored as well.
Okay.
And then matching part, like you said, the third part, we are going to so that the right expert is matched to the right woman. For example, a Latino American woman might have a need to talk to a Latino expert, as an example. Not that everybody wants that, but as an example.
Yeah.
So then they, by language or by whatever, so they can at least, we try to give them options if that's what they want.
Okay.
So that is where we are right now, where we are onboarding, where the experts are creating their profiles and entering all the information. So that's where the stage we are. So we hope to make it to the public in probably, I think, in a few weeks, in a month's time maybe. That's how we are. Yeah.
So are you doing any kind of integrations? So I'm thinking integrations like, people want to follow their steps, so they want to follow their, so any of their other health metrics.
Yeah, so we will be integrating with the Apple, right? The Apple Watch, the basic integrations, and then as the time progresses, we will be adding a lot of other metrics. It'll be all based on what women want, right? Our experts, they give us feedback as to if they say, hey, I need this for my clients, and we will add that. But so, it would be based, but the basic integration, yes, absolutely. We will do the basic integration, which everybody's aware of, like Apple, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, because I have something in my head, and I'm not going to talk about it here. I want us to talk about it offline. But,
of course.
But you would have so, and this is for my own clarity, but like the Apple Watch stuff, that is an app. So you have the ability to partner with and link up with other apps and other app companies to integrate.
To bring it together.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so but we don't want to do like 10,000 in the beginning. It's very confusing. So it depends on, let's say, most of the time it would be experts who will give us the feedback what they are using, so that we make it useful for the experts to communicate with their clients properly, because the whole idea is everything we try to present it,
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I have an idea for you that we'll talk about when we finish here, that you may have already has come to you, but could be kind of fun, kind of interesting, and I think could be super useful for you. So cool. Well, that's super exciting. So you're onboarding your experts, but you don't yet have clients in it. Is that correct? Or you do?
No, we haven't opened it up yet.
Okay.
We haven't opened it up. We want to make sure that everything is populated properly.
Yeah.
And then we open it up. So we haven't opened it up to any of the end users yet.
Okay, gotcha. So is there a specific focus, like weight loss, or is it really just kind of whatever they need that is going to pertain to hormone balance and perimenopause, menopause?
No, it depends. We are not focusing only on weight loss. We're not medical doctors. We are just a platform whose onboarding the depending on whatever expert's expertise is, that's what it is. So we will cover everything what a mid-age woman goes through, from a pelvic pain to sexual health to weight gain issues to hair thinning to skin care, whatever she's going through, right? And of course the usual suspects of hot flashes and stuff like that. So our intention is to really bring the right experts and bring match it with the consumers who need it, and bring the whole thing open. Bring it out in the open, right? All these discussions which have been shrouded right now in silence with the cultural stigma and all the things we talked about. So that women feel safe and they come here and they can talk about, let's say, if they're having an issue with their sexual health or the libido. They don't feel, oh my God, where do I go? What if people judge me? Things like so many topics, right? So that really is the idea, to have women are confident that they can come here safely and they can talk to the experts, or they can talk to other women if they want to, right?
Yeah. And I think that's it's so important, because we can, I feel like often we can talk about the simple things. I'm gaining weight, I'm losing my hair, I got these hot flashes. But you start getting into these really personal issues that can be problematic for a couple, right? So you hit on the pelvic pain, you hit on the sexual dysfunction. What I know you're not a doctor, but how, this is a pretty regular occurrence, isn't it? Where people are struggling with such personal issues that can impact more than just them.
Yeah, because the data talks about, if I look at the data for US and UK, 60% of women who are getting divorced are during the perimenopausal, menopausal years. And in fact, so many movies you see, right? I'm watching 4 seasons right now, Netflix. There is a midlife couple who's getting divorced, and the husband's saying, hey, she doesn't do anything. Right? So, these are the things we are at least talking about it, and this could be one of the reasons why and the open communication is not there. In my mind, I think it's a lack of communication amongst two people. And if you start discussing there's a problem and start going towards solving the problem, which we know could be there for men as well as women. I don't know which one has more. For women, definitely we know the data. Then these can be avoided. It's more than the physical hot flash. It's the relationship. It's your right. It's your world falling apart, and you don't want the family tearing apart, right? You don't. There's so much impact this menopause can have, a negative impact on the family. And that's what we're trying to say, is it's not just hot flashes, it's beyond hot flashes. And why don't we talk about it openly?
Yeah, openly with each other, and openly with those who we love, right? Our spouses. They need to be a part of this and help to walk through it and talk through it. But we've got to be open enough to want to get the help and to talk to them about it, and not just shut down. Because I think that can happen a lot too, is there's just that, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's why, I'm afraid. Going back to the symptoms that I have, is it dementia, or is it whatever it is, I'm afraid and I'm fearful, and so I just kind of shut down instead of trying to seek. This is a great easy entry into starting to seek, right?
Yeah, at least a step towards the right direction, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're going to solve all the problems. Look, it's a very complicated, thing. But at least you start to begin this. You begin somewhere, right? And then again, these things could be cost prohibitive, like hiring a sex therapist, as an example, or a sexologist. Maybe you could do it in a group setting, or maybe you're kind of, there's again the stigma attached to the fact that, I now have to talk about my personal, intimate life, with someone else. I'm like, a lot of us don't feel comfortable doing that. That is a fact. That is a fact. It doesn't matter actually. In this case, it's agnostic as far as cultural part is concerned. Across the world, it doesn't matter. We don't feel comfortable talking about it. But on the other hand, if there is an issue, which is with your partner or with amongst yourself, if you don't talk about it, then it's going to get, it could lead to something that you don't want it where to lead, especially when you're going as you're aging. You don't want to be end up alone, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's the society and the culture part that is so profound, that needs to be kind of discussed. Not only the hot flashes.
Yeah, totally agree. We don't talk about it enough, but it makes me think of, and it's hard to tell kids, and I'm thinking, young kids in their teens and their, even their 20s, that you need to think about your future. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever, I'll worry about that later. But the things that I think can impact all of these things so much, right? Beyond, so we've got these exogenous hormones that we just talked about, right? The xenoestrogens and those things that can impact us, that are from outside of us. Also, though, which is so hard on the body, are the birth control pills that we're taking, and the Mirenas and all of these things that are the synthetic hormones. I get the reasoning behind them, but they're not doing us any favors. They're throwing our hormones out of whack. You hit on the divorce rate that goes up as we're moving through perimenopause. What is fascinating to me too is that when women are on birth control, they don't have their normal cycles. So they sit in this place, this luteal phase, which is more of a dark phase, right? It changes how you view your spouse. It changes your attraction to your spouse, or to anyone if you're looking to have a spouse, right? And then, there's data showing women get off birth control pills and they don't relate to their spouse anymore because everything's different. Their hormones are different. Everything, it changes the relationship, and divorces go up. So these pills that we're on, scary, synthetic, problematic, but can impact everything about us until our end. And we don't really think about that. All we're thinking about is, I don't want to get pregnant, which I get, but there's so much more to it. And I made it very simple. I know a lot of women are also on it because their hormones are so out of whack. Yeah. But we've got to take that as a symptom. If your hormones are out of whack, if you're in a ton of pain, every month, if you are experiencing rage and all of these things, this is not normal, right? Just like the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, to the degree that many people experience them, are not normal. It's because of severe long-term hormonal dysregulation. So, that's right. Well, but what do we do? I mean, seriously, you don't want to end up having 8, 9 babies. It's like old times. My grandmother had 9 kids. Right? Wow. So, so what do you do? I mean, you don't have sex. I know it's a. I get that it seems very simple. I'm like, so but I mean, we know how babies are made, and I mean, anyway, so there's no great answer. I mean, there's a very simple answer, but I know that there's a lot that goes into that piece of it, and I can't imagine having 9 babies. No, but in those days, it was pretty. I mean, 5, 6 were pretty common. And mind you, that 2, 3 actually died in this time. That they could not make it alive. It was very common for women to have miscarriages and all these kind of things as well. But this is a problem too. The birth control. But I'm no expert. I'm not an expert in birth control. But you're absolutely right. Like, we as women start
feeding our system, right? And as at a younger age, now young girls at age probably 13 go. I don't even know right now what age the young girls are on birth control pills in today's day and age.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
At age 13.
They're starting really
Yeah.
young. They're starting really young, and I think that sometimes parents think it's protective, and you know, I understand, you know, all sides of the argument to a degree. But I also, you know, when you're on this side of the world and all you're doing is, you know, which is where I sit, is all I'm doing is looking at the data, you know, data after data after data, and the problems that this stuff causes, the downstream effects that this stuff causes. I mean, it breaks my heart, and it's just the lack of knowledge and the lack of understanding, which is, you know, why we do what we do, right? It's let's give you the knowledge so you can make the decisions that you want to make. You know, I'm not going to tell you you shouldn't do this, but I want you to have all of the knowledge humanly possible so you can make an educated decision based on your own needs, right?
So it has to go to a 13-year-old girl mom, or actually 80-year-old girl mom, and she's probably entering the perimenopause herself as well.
Right.
If you think about it, the age 40-something, 8 to 10-year kid or daughter. So that's where it has to start. But how do you reach? How do you get to them? Through schools, probably. That's the only way. That's how you get to these moms, through the schools. Right? I mean, this is a bigger problem for you and I to solve. I'm just I'm trying to do my little piece of, but it is a problem. It is a problem. And I think it has to be, you know, honestly, at the government level, I hope these measures are are in place. Some things, the women's study is still going on. You know, the big, they did not let that go. You know how many research studies have been let go, right, in the recent years from National Institute of Health, but this women's study is still going on. But I think these kind of things have to be brought up bubbled up, you know, at a higher level, where it can be made, kind of like make an impact at the overall society level, that at the individual level. It gets very hard. It has to be administered at the college level or the communities and all these kind of things, like UK is trying to do, like Australia is trying to do, right? These countries are trying all these things, believe it or not.
Yeah. And I hear you, but what I'm going to say is I don't trust the government to give me the real information to save my life.
Okay. That is a problem then.
But I hear what you're saying, and yes, there has to be a bigger movement, right? Which, in my mind, this is the bigger movement, right? You're doing what you're doing has the potential of really being a movement and changing a lot of lives. I mean, this is the groundwork. This is the base stuff that really is. It's the education and the teaching and the knowledge base and the tools. All of these things that you're doing is the stuff that makes a difference, and that people then have a choice as to whether they jump in or not. But you're giving the information. Right. Yeah. To me, that's
good. Yeah.
I think that I trust you much more than I trust the government
or
any of the institutions.
I have the experts who are talking, not me. You won't see me at all. I just talk to you, but it's fun. You won't speak in the app at all. So.
Oh, I know. But you're the back end of it, and because of what you have done. You have gone out and you've interviewed and you have educated yourself to such a degree that you are an expert at it now. Now, you may not be like the expert coach or whatever, but you have put something together that is much, much needed and very important. And so I would call you an expert. You're probably more of an expert than many of the people out there who claim to be experts because of what you have done. You just don't have the license, right? I mean,
no.
That's okay.
I'm too lazy to go get license. I'm fixing the bugs in my technical.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
right now.
Yeah. I hear you.
Testing everything, testing the system, making sure everybody's getting onboarded properly, solving all the bugs, and let's fix it.
Yeah. Well, you're doing big work, and I'm grateful for what you're doing. I'm super excited that you are in this place where now I can start sharing it, and getting people to. You're doing your thing, and all of the people who you're bringing on, it's just gonna grow. So it's super exciting. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. Without people like you, we would not be. We can't even dream of being where we are today. It's all this last 2 years of so much challenging and up and down, roller coaster ride that we've gone through.
Yeah.
And having doubts sometimes, to be honest with you, everybody has doubts. What you're doing, is it useful or not? Are you putting your time and energy? But every single day I'll have someone like you tell me you're doing the right thing, believe it or not. Yes. And that just kept me going over the last 2-3 years. I'm like, no, this is right.
Yeah.
Someone's telling me every single day. It was like the universe, I believe in God.
Yeah.
It is someone in form of a universe was telling me. So I'm very thankful to people like yourself.
Oh yeah. Well, and it is this beautiful thing that, you followed God's will. But it's the tough stuff that helps you to adjust, and it helps you to grow, and it helps to build your character, and it helps keep you motivated. And even when it's hard, it's still important, right?
Yeah.
So it's it's super exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So tell people where they can find you and when they can start signing up for your app.
Yeah, so just go to our website, www.nourishdoc.com. We are going to make everything available pretty soon. Like I said, we're testing the system. We're just working through the onboarding the experts so that, when users come in, they will have the self-care program, like I said earlier, and then they have the ability to engage with the experts if they like to get to the next level. So that's where we are. So just go to our website right now.
So NourishDoc.com, your website, all that stuff will be in the show notes and that kind of thing, so you can find her and reach out. But don't do it, even if you don't know if you're in perimenopause, even if you're, you have questions, or if you know someone you're not, it starts so much earlier than we think it does.
Yes.
So start early, start now.
Yes.
And if you're not even, if you're in your 20s or your early 30s, whatever it is, know that the decisions that you're making now and today will have an impact later on. And we don't want to, if at all possible, be the ones who are like, why do I have these crazy symptoms? Let's manage it now, because we can. That's the beautiful thing about the choices that we make every day, whether it's the food or the sleep or the stress mitigation, on and on. All of those things play such a role on our hormones and our hormonal balance and what things are going to be like later on. So it's a big deal. Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We will do it again. I can't wait to see things just explode for you. It's going to be amazing.
Okay,
So fun.
thank you.
All right, everybody. So you can find us here every Thursday, 10 a.m. streaming live on KUHSdenver.com. You can find me, Taste Life Nutrition, website, socials, all of the things. I am working on getting some fun stuff together for you, so keep an eye out for that. I'll talk more about that later on. But join us every week. We'll see you here. Oh, I forgot to tell you, which you may already know, but on the website there is an assessment. If you have questions about yourself, about your symptoms, if there's somebody that you need to know, somebody who I can introduce you to, or if I can help you out myself, so go to just tastelifenutrition.com, fill out the free assessment, and we'll chat about it and see how we might be able to help you with whatever you might be struggling with or questions that you have. So there we are. We'll see you next week, and thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Hang out with me just one second.